Welcome. This is Carol Vinci, and this is my daily live session for people who know we have ADD or ADHD, for people who fear they might have ADD or ADHD, and for people by choice or chance live and work with people who exhibit the symptoms of ADD and ADHD. Today's subject is rejection sensitivity. When I was selecting the topics for this 30-day program, I almost passed this one by. I speak from my own personal experiences, and I didn't think that I had anything to contribute on this subject. Much to my surprise, things showed up in both my childhood and adult behaviors that definitely fit into this discussion, and I will get into some of those later in this session. First, let me give you a brief description of some of the signs of rejection sensitivity. An above average difficulty with excitability, frustration, and impatience. Impatience, in my case, if you ever tried to play golf with me and there's a slow round, there's nothing memorable about or recordable about the behavior that I have as I impatiently wait for somebody to go find their ball in the trees for the 10th time. Not a very good example. Fear of being perceived as incompetent. And this is another place where I was so concerned, as I spoke earlier, of branding myself as stupid in first grade, that somebody would discover that I didn't have sufficient skills. So I worked so hard. As one of my staff members said to me at one point, "Do you know all of your colleagues are intimidated by you?" And I thought I was pedaling as hard as I could just to keep up with the pack. That's how out of sync I was with the impact of my behavior. The other part is that you're unappealing. And social media has some impact on this, if people tend to compare themselves to the airbrushed, highly make-up, characters that display the perfect world on various social media platforms, or that we're uncool, that we just don't fit in with the in crowd. Girls and women are more susceptible to this condition because females connect through their social skills. Most people with ADD and ADHD are weak or have absolutely no social skills. That nasty word executive function leaves us with being poorly wired to respond to the feelings of others, so we don't fit in. And in many cases, this may contribute to why young people in school, young women in school, are being bullied. They don't fit in with the in crowd, and the in crowd decides to take advantage of their awkwardness. For boys and men, sports is the initial connection that draws males together. If they have strong athletic skills, everybody wants them on their team. You may not be aware of this. The current president of the United States had a major stuttering problem as a youngster, but he was a super athlete. So his stuttering was overlooked in favor of his athletic skills. Everybody wanted him on their team, so they ignored, as opposed to picked on, the stuttering. Males can also connect as sports fans. Sitting on the couch all Sunday afternoon watching the endless round of football games. They gather at local bars, in office pools, or in gambling pools. That's one of the reasons that some of these gambling sites are making so much money, because it is a way for men to connect. All of these provide a common interest that goes from season to season as sports moves through the weather conditions. You have football in the fall, and then you have hockey that now appears to be played all the way through July. And you have baseball training camp and baseball playoffs and the World Series that interferes with college football and professional football. So there is always something that they can connect with. I rarely speak about issues relating to children because I've never had the opportunity to raise a child. But this information is important for teachers, parents, coaches, and mentors of girls and women as they go through their lives. Being aware of the struggles and the rejection of not fitting in because they have skills that they just can't master is something you need to be on the lookout for, because teen suicide is on the rise and is a very sad situation to become aware of when it's too late. My dad was a good minor league baseball player. So TV time as a child was restricted to Walt Disney on Sunday evenings for myself, my brother, and my sister. But when he was not working, he had the TV on, and we were exposed to any of his sports interests, which gave me information as I proceeded with my corporate career and worked in a very competitive, male-driven organization, and was able to participate in, I remember this one particular situation with I'm not necessarily a basketball fan because you really have to pay attention all the time because it's very fast moving. So usually when I'm watching a sports team on TV, I'm reading or handling some paperwork. But the college basketball, the Final Four, is very popular here in the States, and there's always a pool. So I'm as not a serious basketball fan, but I used to ski with somebody who was a serious basketball fan. So when I came back from my ski trip at the end of February, and the Final Four was running in March, I was pretty alert to the teams that were likely to stand a chance to move forward in the pool that the office had. So when I showed up as one of the top three people on the office pool, everybody wanted to know who Carol Vinci was, because that was sort of a unique position for a woman to have. I remember that. But the other thing that was very difficult for me was that I had very few girlfriends. And this is something that I only came to as I was preparing this material. Very few girlfriends in grammar school, and by the third year of high school, I was teaching piano lessons so that I could have enough money to have control over my college education, where I went, the course of study, and not have to be subjected to continuous grilling on what was I going to do with my life with those courses. So it left me zero time to worry about friendships. At office parties, social gatherings, and participating in sports events, I played singles tennis for 30 years and now play golf. I found myself gathering in groups of men. To this day, I find the contributions I can make to female discussions extremely limited and unsatisfying. And I share this with you because the point of these sessions is to trigger some thinking on your part in terms of what aspects of ADD and ADHD have been a limiting factor in your life. The only way to come to this insight is to do journaling and to look back at various experiences that have occurred that may seem disconnected, random, but if you take the time to really think about it, as I did as I prepared this material, there's a great understanding that comes from that insight. And it may help with some of the things that you find awkward, that you struggle with, and to help you choose whether you want to address them, try to minimize their impact, or just continue to live with them. This is about your choice. If you're lucky enough to have older members of your family that might help you with some of this discovery process, take advantage of it. This is not a time for blame or fault finding. I know it can be hard, but this is a reminder that everyone in your life has tried to do the best they could with the information they had. Again, I'm asking for your comments. Whether you agree, disagree, raise hell, I would really like to hear from you. And I do respond to the comments that come forward. I'm also new to social media, so I'm asking that you subscribe to this channel because I have a lot of catching up to do. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow.